Harward. I'm a third-year nutrition science major here. That being said, I like to keep up on current trends and buzzwords in the health and fitness world. One of them being the ketogenic diet, which many of you may have heard of by now. It is becoming increasingly popular in the health world. Through the study of scientific testing and research, I have found that the ketogenic diet is an unsafe method of weight loss long term. The ketogenic diet can lead to nutrient deficiencies and an increase in cholesterol levels, and it should be done with the supervision of a medical professional. To begin, I'd like to define what the ketogenic diet entails. The foods we consume can be broken down into 3 categories called macronutrients. These include carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. A person who is on the ketogenic diet usually eats 75 to 80% of their calories from fat, 15 to 20% from protein, and only 5% from carbohydrates. This forces the body into a state that is known as ketosis. Ketosis occurs when your body doesn't have enough energy from glucose or carbohydrates, so it adapts by using stored fat for energy. Essentially, your body burns fat instead of carbohydrates as its main mode of energy, therefore causing rapid weight loss. It takes anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks for the average person to reach a state of ketosis and begin running off of fat. Once in ketosis, it is very easy to be kicked back out, causing dieters to have to watch their macros very closely and follow the diet very strictly. The first finding supporting the ketogenic diet as being unsafe is the danger of nutrient deficiencies. Vegetables and fruits are counted as carbohydrates when using macronutrients and are therefore limited on a strict keto diet. Equally as important to macronutrients in a balanced diet are micronutrients. These are vitamins and minerals that are essential to many aspects of our health, including digestion, focus, energy, hormonal imbalances, skin and hair health, hemoglobin levels, and much more. Many minerals and vitamins are found exclusively in fruits and vegetables, and therefore consumers of the ketogenic diet are at risk of becoming nutrient deficient when restricting those items so strictly. In addition to these micronutrients, dieters may experience a lack of electrolytes such as sodium, magnesium, and potassium. Dr. Rika Kumar, an endocrinologist at Weill Cornell Medicine and New York Presbyterian, states, this is due to both low intake and metabolic changes that occur as a result of the dietary shift that occurs on the ketogenic diet. The next risk in following the ketogenic diet is an increase in cholesterol levels due to the high fat content a person consumes. According to Professor of Neurology and Clinical Pharmacology David Spence, a high-fat, high-cholesterol diet increases coronary risk due to the oxidative stress it causes to your arteries. High-fat foods include red meats, butter, and dairy products. These have been shown to increase LDL cholesterol, according to the American Heart Association. Finally, due to the chemical changes that occur in a person's body when they use the ketogenic diet, it is unsafe to follow the diet without the supervision of a medical professional. According to Dr. John Little, a ketogenic diet can lead to many physiological changes in the body, including increased salt excretion and reduced blood pressure. It is important to work with someone who is familiar with these diets if you're going to start one, because there are some things you need to watch out for and adjust, especially if you are on any medications. The diet has been used in the past for the treatment of epilepsy and autism. However, there is no long-term research on its use for fat loss or its long-term effects on organs such as the liver and kidneys, which are what create ketones, which put your body into ketosis. As I mentioned earlier, I tried to keep up on the new diet trends, so I am aware of what's happening in the nutrition world. That being said, I did try the keto diet for about 3 months. I lost about 9 pounds, however, I felt fatigued and tired the entire time, and my skin broke out terribly. A common side effect of keto is a lack of energy for exercise due to the extreme restriction on carbohydrates, which fuel the body for physical activity. Exercise is shown to be even better for your overall health than actual diet, so it's very important to be able to exercise. Although some people swear by this diet for its quick results in weight loss, every person should do scholarly scientific research before making a decision about their health. Without truly knowing how this diet could affect one's overall health long term, it appears to be unsafe to follow for an extended amount of time.
Rachel, the proposition was clearly identified, and I like the personal information that you had at the beginning of the speech. It relates to the subject, so that gets us a little bit of credibility, and it also sets up the subject for the audience. The contents, you do have a kind of a preview, but there aren't any numerical signposts for those points, and they ran together a little bit. So although you do kind of set up what the main issues are going to be, I think they could be a little bit more distinctive, and that would probably help it later on. Because you run in, although I think you do a clearer job signposting those points when you're in the body of the speech, even though you don't have a number with those points, there's still a chance that some ideas will run together a little bit. I like the background information on ketosis and what the diets are. You've got some data describing what it is and what the kind of diet consists of. That's fine. I do think you need to give us some source citations for that kind of data. I don't think there's much dispute about what you're saying, but you're not consistent about citing the sources. The one place that you were consistent about citing the sources was from the testimony of the doctors that you had. You had three particular doctors. You cited each of them, gave some credibility for each of those points, and so that was really solid. I think the factual data about describing the diet is probably sound, although again, I think there needs to be some information. The notion that fruits and vegetables, for instance, are treated as carbohydrates in these diets, I want to defer to you, but I think I need a little bit of citation on that. This would be one of those places where you need to describe what the diet is, what it excludes, what it includes. The vitamins and minerals that you're talking about, the potential deficiencies there are probably dependent on the consumption of those fruits and vegetables. I don't know that they all have the degree of carbohydrates that would exceed the 5% limit that's going on there, so I'm not sure why they would automatically be excluded. The cholesterol level argument was pretty clearly identified, and because of the nature of the diet, I think it's easy to follow how you see that would cause a problem. And the notion that it's unsafe to follow for a long period of time, I like the place where you kind of introduce your own personal experience with it. I think that helps illustrate the concept there, but that's the only information that you have there except for a general warning that occurs on that last point. I thought it was also a little bit problematic that you acknowledge at the end of the presentation that we don't have any long-term studies on this, which suggests that we don't have any long-term studies with either direction, whether they are dangerous consequences or positive consequences. And so it's a little bit harder to assess the risk as a result of that. And I think that you probably these diets have been around for a while, and it seems strange to me that there wouldn't be at least some examples that you could use of people, in addition to yourself, for instance, of people who had problems with these sorts of diets, or doctors, for instance, who have used these diets and had difficulties or complications that resulted, and that might have been a stronger way to make that argument than just making the generic statement that there's no long-term studies on it. I like the end of the speech. You have a good exit line there, so that worked pretty well too. All right, thank you.